Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. Now, a lot of us do already know that USA has imposed a huge amount of tariff on India for purchasing crude oil from Russia, and also because USA says that USA has a big trade deficit against India. That means India is exporting a lot to USA and earning money from USA, whereas USA is able to export only a few of its a percentage and hence earns less of the amount, as a result of which there is a trade deficit of USA with respect to India. But what if I tell you that that is absolutely not the case? Yes, India does not have a surplus when it comes to the monetary amount. Now, why is that the case is what we will see in this lecture, the topic of which is that the US is basically secretly raking in billions and billions of dollars from New Delhi. New Delhi means the Indian government, or you can say from India. Yes, so we might have the understanding that India has around $35 billion worth of surplus, but that is not the case, because there are certain things that are not taken into consideration while calculating this surplus for India. So this and much more is what we are going to see. Now, the context is, of course, the major imbalance that USA says it is there with respect to India and USA trade. So basically, if you look at the recent numbers of 2025, India has exported around $56 billion worth of merchandise, whereas USA has exported 22, as a result of which India has a surplus of $34 billion. So that is why USA is imposing more and more tariffs on India in order to close this deficit. Now we'll understand whether this is justifiable or not, and we'll also see from where actually is USA earning more, which is actually going to convert this surplus of India into rather a deficit for India. Yes, absolutely. So this is what we will see. Before that, a quick announcement with respect to the new batches that are going to start. The regular batch from 22nd September and 16th October, whereas the weekend batch from 4th and 25th October. So once you enroll with us, there are certain advantages that you will get. In addition to the comprehensive coverage of the syllabus, there will be one-on-one mentorship by the experts themselves. Then you will have, of course, regular interactions with them, daily mains and mains answer writing practice, the prelims and mains test series, plus the batch size is very small, and that of only 40 students. We also provide a 360-degree coverage for current affairs, wherein an entire day's worth of classes every single week is specifically earmarked for current affairs. So if you want to enroll with us, you can download our app or log on to our website or call the numbers that are mentioned over here. So let's move ahead. What is this hidden surplus is what we have to now understand. That means we know that India is having a $35 billion of surplus, but that means USA is having a deficit. But the Global Trade Research Initiative, that is there, GTRI, says that USA does not have a deficit, but rather it has a surplus of 35 to 40 billion dollars. That means what? India was in a surplus of 35 billion dollars. That means USA is earning around 80 billion dollars from various other sources, which is taking care of this deficit which is there, plus generating a surplus for USA to the tune of $40 billion. So this is now interesting. And why is this happening? Let us have a look. So the trade surplus of India that we talked about so far, or is being publicized by USA also, is basically the conventional trade figures only. Now these accounts only for the goods. They ignore certain various critical services and the inflows that are there. So let us look at these sources. The very first one is basically education at $25 billion a year. Yes, the Indian students who are staying in USA are spending around $25 billion per year in USA. So you add this $25 billion, so the $35 billion surplus that India has in this, you add or you subtract this $25 billion. So now India will have only $10 billion worth of surplus. But then There is also finance and consulting fees for the companies like Deloitte, Ernst and Young, so on and so forth, wherein around 10 to 15 billion dollars are spent. So again, minus another 15 billion dollars over here. So now India is rather in a deficit. In addition to this, the global capability centers with respect to Walmart, IBM, Cisco, etc., earning again 15 to 20 billion dollars. So again, minus 20 billion dollars. So now India is in a deficit of 25 billion dollars, right? I hope that's clear. Now this is not it. You have certain other things as well. For example, the defense exports. Now billions in arms sales, etc., the deals that are there with respect to jets, helicopters, etc., are not taken into consideration. Plus you have the intellectual property rights licensing up to the tune of 2 to 3 billion dollars, and then media and entertainment with respect to the OTT, right? So it is also earning a 1 or 1.5 billion dollars. So which makes the surplus for USA instead of India surplus of around 35 billion to 40 billion dollar worth of surplus for USA and not that of India. And no one is talking about this. We should be talking about this, and we are. Now why does this matter for India? Of course it does, because USA has been using the deficit rhetoric time and time again to put pressure on India with respect to tariff, right? With respect to tariff, we are being criticized, we are being penalized. Now it is time for India to give back with respect to these numbers. Now USA is basically asking us to reduce tariffs, and they themselves are increasing tariffs because of this deficit rhetoric. The digital trade and data regulation, etc., with respect to that also, USA basically pressurizes India to let USA and its companies save their data abroad and not in India. That is another point of contention. Then you have intellectual property rights and the government procurement with respect to military, etc., that is there. So they would want us to procure more and more. But what is happening? India does not just earn a lot, but India is rather providing a massive value to the US economy with respect to these sources that we have discussed. Moving ahead, what are the analytical takeaways from this analysis? The takeaway is that India is not a passive partner as such. India is not the one who is majorly benefiting with respect to trade surplus. Absolutely not. It is just one component we are looking at. If we look at the other components as well, we will realize that the argument of USA with respect to trade deficit is a very hollow one. Using that, we can push for reciprocal terms in the free trade agreement and get certain leverage for ourselves. At the same time, we should be able to guard sensitive areas like digital trade, IPR, market access specifically with respect to agriculture. So this is what we should be moving ahead with. We should be utilizing this new data that is coming, not new data in the sense it has been created, it was already there, but this needs to be popularized and leveraged in order to get better deal for India. Thank you.